Good afternoon, and on the big match today, games from the top three divisions. From the first division, over 33,000 at Highbury for the game between Arsenal and Aston Villa. From the second division, some cracking action and plenty of goals too as Grimsby Town face Wolves. And then down in the mellow West Country for a bristling local derby as Bristol City face Bristol Rovers, a remarkable crowd of 19,000 cheering them on. But first is to Highbury for Arsenal against Aston Villa.
Well, it's certainly a big day for 8-year-old Robert Patterson, the Arsenal mascot. He's on television in your home. He's also on the big new screen here at Highbury that gives Arsenal fans their pre-match entertainment, a unique experiment that's going on here at Arsenal. And the teams that'll be seen by everyone today show that Arsenal, in the words of their manager Don Howe, have gone back to the team that gave them such a good start to the season, thanks to Paul Mariner and Stuart Robson both being declared fit, with Pat Jennings returning to goal. Graham Rix is missing, Ian Allinson is their sub. For Paul Mariner, it's a return after missing 5 games with a hamstring injury. Meanwhile, Aston Villa include the French World Cup star Didier Cisse in the number 11 shirt. The biggest stress today might well be on defenders like Alan Evans and Brendan Ormsby as they seek to tighten a defence that's left Villa in 16th place in the table coming to this match. Missing men include striker Paul Rideout and defender Steve Foster, both on the transfer list. The referee is Mike James of Horsham in Sussex. And also missing from the Villa side, of course, Gary Shaw, here today with his crutches, a long-term knee injury for Gary. But he tells me that his target is to be training again in January, and I'm sure everybody will wish him well. So Arsenal get us away, attacking the goal to our right. Villa today playing in a change strip of white shirts and light blue shorts. And Arsenal with a little matter of putting 3 successive defeats behind them. Although Don Howe says we're very relaxed, there's no hint of any sort of crisis. Quite right. Second in the table, why should there be? The Villa defence has been a little on the leaky side. And they've only won once away this season in the league. And Graham Turner, the manager, is saying that they've been working so hard to get the defence right. And indeed, they got a goalless draw last week against West Ham. It's Colin Gibson. Only Paul Kerr, but it bounced, unfortunately for him, and here's Talbot getting it back. That's influenced by Jennings. Woodcock trying to flick it on. Gary Williams getting it away. Came off Sanson for a Villa throw. Very beaten that time, and going on all the way, and the goal is given. And Paul Birch has put Aston Villa into a 9th-minute lead. His first goal of the season for Aston Villa, and one that would leave the Arsenal defence looking around and wondered how on earth it happened. As Jennings came out, he lifted it over the head of the Arsenal keeper, and Villa go into the lead. Free kick for Arsenal. Free kick for Arsenal. Davis and Talbot behind it, and Tommy Caton. The distance from which they might expect to strike. Talbot trying to curl it, but didn't really begin to get the measure of it at all. And Talbot right in there, but caught offside, it won't count. little doubt that it was the correct decision. In fact, it was both Talbot and Robson both offside. Now it's 6. Again, with his up there, brought down from behind by Talbot. A free kick to Aston Villa. They're certainly looking more together than Arsenal at the moment. Cease behind this one. But the free kick, so too is McMahon and Carnes. Cease with the free kick, which deflected off the Arsenal wall. Or at least that's what the referee thought. When Arsenal are claiming that it came off Paul Birch. Anyway, the corner's given. Carnes with the corner. Caton with the clearance. McMahon. And a Villa throw. Evans with a good long throw. O'Leary meeting it, but putting it straight back to Evans again. Oh, my word, with almost got in there again as there was a collision between Caton and Jennings, and it almost opened up the way for Peter With. And there wasn't a lot in it. Woodcock. Unlucky there. Linesman flagging for the free kick for the foul on Tony Woodcock. A free kick to Arsenal. As yet there really hasn't been a scare in the Villa penalty area. But there are certainly plenty up now. Talbot's free kick reached none of them, and the ball comes off Gibson for the Arsenal corner. So O'Leary, Mariner, Anderson, all 6-footers in there. Caton as well. Talbot running it sideways. Robson dinking it in again, and playing it wide for Davis, who's onside. And once again, Gibson was in at the expense of a corner. Looking around, I think half suspecting that Davis was offside, but the flag stayed down, and it's Davis now who takes this corner. Big Men's still up. Well, that might... Well, Irvin Day clutching it on the line. But in fact, it came, I think, not off an Arsenal attacker, but probably there, certainly off a defender. Well, that could have almost been a double or even a treble own goal. Comes for Robson. And he spotted Nicholas away on that far touchline. And it must have been as McMahon turned, he must have made a contact with Nicholas, who suddenly reeled away from that ball, and McMahon now adding insult to injury with a fine run and a pass for Birch. Cease is waiting in the middle, and so nearly came to a connection that would have certainly meant another goal. Crossed in well there, and the ball going behind for the corner. Meantime is off the field, getting some treatment. No reason why the game shouldn't go on. The fist of Pat Jennings gets it away. Ormsby's in there. And a goal kick for Arsenal. I think Charlie Nicholas, interesting to see what it was. It was a clash here with Steve McMahon, and I would have thought purely accidental. That was the impression I had as Charlie moved away, just exactly as McMahon was trying to get his balance. His hand just caught Charlie in the face. Might still come for it. Birch. Now they have to hurl themselves at that, did Arsenal, and Caton Really took a shot from Birch then. But Arsenal with a chance with Charlie Nicholas finding Tony Woodcock. A lot of space this side for Talbot. Inside again for Nicholas. Anderson's joined up with the attack. Talbot once more. That's a better cross. But Evans is on the end of it. And now Mariner has equalised. So Mariner comes back after missing 5 games. And with 5 minutes to go to half-time, gives Arsenal the goal injection they badly needed. Alan Evans' header was only half cleared. Viv Anderson's found Paul Mariner, and he kept his head superbly as Mervyn Day came out. Now, Mariner can afford to smile with his 4th goal of the season. Here's Cease. Turn back again, and it comes to Peter With. And Sanson gets it away, but not very far, and Jennings once more to the rescue. And Arsenal, having battled so hard to get back on terms, could so easily have thrown it away in the space of a moment. And Sanson now finding Mariner, stopped well by Ormsby. It's back with Day. Right on half-time now. So the half-time whistle, with Paul Mariner's goal bringing Arsenal level close to half-time when they struggled for so much of that first 45 minutes against a very well-organised Villa team that had gone into the lead after 9 minutes with that goal by Paul Birch. Half-time then at Highbury, it's Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 1. So Villa then get the second half away, attacking the goal to our right. 1-1. With McMahon. Anderson. Peter With for Villa. Killed by Gibson. Really didn't give Cowans much of a chance, but he made something of it and then lost out to Tony Woodcock. Anderson handing it forward to Mariner. Woodcock. We're going to get Charlie Nicholas on, and Davis is in there too, but there's no danger for Villa. Arsenal warming up their substitute, Ian Allinson. Here's Davis. Now Woodcock. Davis again. For Sanson. It's Morris Davis. That's a good ball there. And a good run by Nicholas. And the cross is on a bad one towards Mariner. Jump here by Paul Mariner. Ian Allinson is coming on, and they're taking Tommy Caton off. And Tommy going off now. He appeared to injure a foot in the first half when he blocked a Villa shot from Paul Birch. And Ian Allinson, who I suppose, and indeed Don Howe agrees, was a little unlucky to be left out in the first place, with 4 goals in each of the last 4 games. A goal in each of the last 4 games. Charlie Nicholas. Handball. The crowd thought so too. The referee was well placed though. Well, good work by Robson. Taking on Williams. Oh, deflection off the arm that could so easily have fooled Mervyn Day. In the end, provides Arsenal with a corner. A fine game in the midfield for Villa, and has a lot of work to do yet, Steve McMahon. As Arsenal continue to press forward looking for the winner. Anson with the corner, a very good one. Comes out to Cease, who's got Kerr and With making a good break through the middle. Nice bit of skill there by the Frenchman, and a pass that falls nicely into the path of Cowans. Now with Kerr, Cowans, McMahon trying to keep it going for Villa, but Sanson to Allinson. Davis, Anderson, just had time to get that through to Allinson. Talbot. Just towards Woodcock. And I can only feel that Birch may have said something to Woodcock as that went through, leave it or something like that. The referee heard it. Woodcock clearly moved away from that ball, looked round questioningly at the referee, and the referee must have heard it also and has given the indirect free kick. It's interesting, and it's certainly pretty dangerous for Villa. It might well be, I thought for a moment it might be Talbot will try a curler, but it doesn't look as though it's going to be that. It's an indirect, of course. It'll be Charlie Nicholas driving it through, and somehow Mervyn Day saving it. We couldn't have seen that until the very last. And Day on hand at the second attempt. Not the happiest of grounds for him, this one. He recalls in 1976 he came here with West Ham and Arsenal hit them for 6. And they're taking off Didier Cease, the Frenchman, who in truth hasn't shown a lot this afternoon. And Tony Garrigo comes on, a young boy from Australia, who in fact wrote in for a trial on the recommendation of Justin Fashanu, who was playing in Australia at the time. There's 10 minutes left now. Woodcock. Simpson again with the Arsenal throw. Talbot trying to inject something forward. Towards Mariner. Robson with a shot, Day with a save, Nicholas trying to get in there, Woodcock, saved again, and my word, now on earth, did Day and Aston Villa keep that out? The flag at the end was up, but the chances were there before it, in a most amazing scramble around that Villa goal. Mervyn Day saving well there, Charlie Nicholas coming in, Woodcock having a shot saved, and that's the point when there was an offside flag up against Charlie Nicholas. And it looks like being a draw that, I suppose, won't do an awful lot for Arsenal's confidence after 3 successive defeats, but it'll certainly do wonders for Aston Villa. Down there in 16th place in the table coming to this game. Now with what looks certain to be, well, at least a draw. With a back pass there, which provides Villa with a corner in the dying seconds. Well over 2 minutes of time added on. Paul Birch with that corner. Goes out to McMahon. And the goal kick. I would hardly think there's time for Arsenal to get forward now to threaten Villa again in this last few seconds. It's with Charlie Nicholas. It's with Talbot. For a moment it looked as though it was running his way, but Evans is there keeping an eye on Woodcock, but also able to get it back again to his keeper. Some whistles now from the Villa fans. Final whistle. And 1-1 it is, with those goals in the first half. Paul Birch for Villa, Paul Mariner for Arsenal. Final score then, it's Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 1.
Well, that draw means that Arsenal go from second to third in the table on a weekend when Everton opened up a 3-point lead at the top with their win at West Ham. Manchester United are second and Spurs are fourth. But at least it was a successful return to action for Paul Mariner, as you've seen for yourselves. But after the game, he withdrew from the England squad for the World Cup match in Turkey on Wednesday afternoon. Paul had taken a bump on the head during the game. It required 6 stitches, and he's just back after hamstring trouble, of course. The England manager, Bobby Robson, told Mariner, though, that his form was good enough for him. And Robson added, "I spent 20 minutes trying to get him to change his mind." Well, now Clive Allen of Tottenham comes in to Mariner's place, and Bobby Robson revealed this morning that he had intended to bring Chris Waddle, the brilliant young Newcastle striker, into the squad as well, but he dropped out of the under-21 squad through injury last night. The other news, of course, is that the Liverpool fullback Alan Kennedy has also dropped out through injury. Right, some more goals coming next as Grimsby face Wolves, and then that Bristol Derby, City against Rovers. It's after the break. And welcome back. Next, it's Grimsby Town against Wolves. Grimsby so close to promotion for much of last season, and now they're up there again. And Wolves under Tommy Docherty, well, they're always likely to produce something a little out of the ordinary. And indeed, they've won their last 3 league matches. Well, it was quite a game at Grimsby where our commentator's John Helm. Grimsby are the team in the stripes.
And again, it's a long one. And is that over the line? It is. It's a goal for Wilkinson. 10 minutes gone. Paul Wilkinson puts Grimsby ahead, and all credit to the referee, who was in a perfect position. Ford has been taking the corners longer than we're used to seeing them these days, and in comes Wilkinson, and a good header, and despite the presence of the Wolves defender, it's over the line. Lund again managing to get his head to it. Pender knocks it away. Oh, chance for Ford here, trying to get round Barnes. What an extraordinary own goal. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie. David Barnes scores the perfect own goal. Flowers is disconsolate. And Wolves really have been asking for it, because they've caused themselves so many problems. Ford puts Barnes under pressure and he loops it almost to perfection under the bar. And that ball getting through to Lund via Ainscough. Still battling for it with Foley. Now Bonnyman. Won't quite get through to Ford. It will now from the ricochet. And Ford now racing onto Lund's pass inside the area. Oh, wrestled off it. That's a penalty. That's a penalty against John Pender. And this was all about Tony Ford's pace. He races on for that long through ball. Pender was always struggling to get to grips with Ford, and undoubtedly held him off there as Ford was hustling and bustling and trying to get inside the area. So Mr. Simpson points to the spot, and Phil Bonnyman makes it 3-0. Oh, what an extraordinary penalty. I think a lot of people wondered whether it had actually gone in. Phil Bonnyman raised his hand. He really hits it high, and it goes just under the crossbar. It in fact hits the angle inside. Ryan's corner. It's a long one, and Batch makes a good punch. Only as far as Ainscoe's hit the bar once already. Haven't stopped Ainscoe's shot, in fact, although I don't think he was going anywhere near. Oh, and here's a real chance for Tommy Langley. 3-1. So the substitute, pays dividends within minutes of coming on. An encouraging start for Langley. Wolves caught out here. Ainscough had the first shot, which ironically came back off Evans. When he puts in the cross, it falls invitingly for Langley, who makes no mistake. Oh, that pass has left a real chance here for number 4. Oh, he's going to have to slip it back now. Perhaps taken too long. Delayed too long. Young Lund. Oh, must be a goal, though. Well, Lund delayed too long, but when he finally hit the ball across, there was Kevin Drinkle, and that is number 4. Well, an extraordinary goal in many ways here. Gary Lund had the perfect opportunity. He then took the ball a little bit too far, just managed to keep it in play, and when he hit it, it came off the goalkeeper's legs. He then drove in the shot, and Drinkle can't ever have scored with an easier header. Bonnyman, lovely ball to Ford, who's got all the penalty area to go at here. Tony Ford, he's got number 5! Oh, isn't he pleased? And if anybody deserves a goal today, it's Tony Ford. He's worked tirelessly, and from the moment the ball landed at his foot there, he knew what he wanted to do. And doesn't he do it well? He cuts inside the penalty area, gets the angle absolutely right, and Flowers has no chance.
Well, a bit on the murky side there at the end, but 5-1 to Grimsby was the final score. That was quite clear. 11 goals in a week they've scored, 6 in the Milk Cup in midweek. Indeed, that's the first win for Grimsby, I'm told, against Wolves in 46 years, so it was quite a day for them, and a victory that takes them to 5th in the 2nd Division. Well, now we go down a league and to an astonishing crowd, nearly 19,000. I wonder where you'd find that in any other sport for a 3rd Division game between Bristol City and Bristol Rovers. Both going pretty well near the top of the table. A real special West Country occasion then at Ashton Gate. Commentator Martin Tyler.
Terry Cooper has played for and been in charge of both Bristol clubs, but it's a watching brief today for the present Bristol City manager, although at 40 he has appeared in the league side this season. David Williams, though, will be in the thick of the fray. At 29, he's coping admirably with the dual responsibilities of player and manager of Bristol Rovers. Williams makes one change after 5 league games without a win. Phil Bater swapping shirts with today's substitute, Mark O'Connor. It's a nostalgic return for goalkeeper Ray Cashley, who spent 11 years here with City, and Paul Randall is the top scorer with 10 goals. City lost left-back Rob Newman in midweek with a broken leg, so Bruce Halliday comes in. Defender Keith Curl is the one Rovers old boy in this lineup. And at number 10, Alan Walsh, who cost £18,000 from Darlington in the summer, he's already contributed 11 goals. Today's referee is Tony Ward from London. Just 1 point separates these two clubs in the upper reaches of the 3rd Division, with Rovers starting the match in 2nd place on a pitch that has taken, well, heavy rain in the week. But it's a beautiful West Country afternoon. And the first free kick goes the way of Bristol Rovers. And David Williams trying to draw City out and then play it again quickly. Timmy Parkin came in from the back with a header that dropped safely for John Shaw. Certainly the recent disappointing results by Bristol Rovers has produced a note of caution in their approach here. David Williams, who has been operating in midfield. Now, whenever it's feasible, the last defender. Ritchie. Here's Walsh, Williams, David Williams, that is, goes across in that sweeper's role. He can look so ungainly, Alan Walsh, but he is effective. Pritchard. Past David Williams, but not past Brian Williams. who'd gone across with him. Ten minutes played. Riley's header. Ritchie. Stroud well forward. And it was Stroud who hit it. A goal out of nothing. It certainly took Cashley by surprise. Well, Kenny Stroud tried to retire at the start of this season. He runs a guest house in Swindon. Bristol City persuaded him to come back as a part-timer, and how glad they must be now. He looped it over Cashley. 1-0, 11 minutes gone. First blood to Bristol City. Randall and Holloway. Stevens in the middle. Holloway goes the direct route. Bristol born and looking to reply for Rovers. Ian Holloway. The delay while McCaffrey gets some repairs to his boots. And is in fact off the field. McCaffrey waiting for the referee's decision to allow him to come back on. Park in, and can Riley reach it? 2-0. Rovers look in disbelief. Cashley is hurt. Glyn Riley is delighted. But Bristol Rovers, in fact, were a central defender light, in the sense that McCaffrey was making his way back into position after being off the field changing a boot. Parkin certainly misjudged the header. Riley ran onto it. Here's Pritchard. And Riley's gone to the near post. Riley! Very neatly done indeed. It's a second for Riley. It's euphoria for Bristol City followers. And Howard Pritchard, they feel he should be in contention for a place in the Welsh squad as a winger. And he set up Riley, who steered it in at the near post. "18 minutes into the second half. Bristol City 3, Bristol Rovers 0. And 2 of them down to Glyn Riley. Halliday. Morgan asking for a deep cross. Riley! There was no one near him. And it was an excellent piece of work by Ray Cashley to deny Glyn Riley his hat-trick. One defender torn between 2 players, but Cashley was there for Rovers. The deepest City player was Pritchard. And Brian Williams staying too close to Howard Pritchard on that occasion. It's been a hard-working afternoon for the Bristol Rovers left-back against a winger who's certainly on song now. Riley. It was so close again. It's all dropping for Glyn Riley in the second half. Cashley flung himself to his right, didn't touch it. Bater. And that's going to be a free kick against Curl. The referee sprinting across to have a word with Keith Curl. free kick can be taken. Keith Curle does have his name taken. It certainly was a late tackle, and it did stop Phil Bater when he was finding an extra gear. So a free kick to Rovers, 3 goals down. And Shaw, perhaps the most difficult save he's had to make. It came from Stevens' header. And it came 3 minutes from time. Archie Stevens got in front of Phillips and Masters then, but Shaw was down alertly.
So 3-0, the final score, a handsome victory there for Bristol City. They now move up to 3rd place in the 3rd division. But still in the top 7 are Bristol Rovers, Millwall, Bradford City, Hull, Gillingham and Rotherham, all with plenty to be pleased about. There's a real battle then beginning to develop now at the top of the 3rd division. Well, I was saying a bit earlier during that game at Highbury that the Villa goalkeeper Mervyn Day will certainly have bad memories of the ground. He was beaten 6 times there in a game for West Ham in 1976. This, in fact, was the 6th Arsenal goal scored by Brian Kidd, who got a hat-trick. Unhappy Mervyn also broke the dressing room mirror, he tells me, before that game during his warm-up. 7 years bad luck, they say, but that's all over now, as he proved yesterday for Aston Villa. Good afternoon to you all.
Will be Charlie Nicholas driving it through, and somehow Mervyn Day saved it. Robson with a shot, Day with a save, Nicholas trying to get in there, whipped up, saved again,